Hello, it is Takesha with Amazing Creations, and I am here to motivate anyone that is in the world that is having a hard time fighting against the spiritual realm, family. The enemy comes in all different shapes and forms, and we have to be mindful of that. But I'm also here because I am a grieving mother. I just lost my son due to gun violence. His name was Orby Holder. He lived in the Sussex County area. He lived in Coverdale Crossroads, and he was killed amongst his family members and friends in a community which we've raised him, which whom he loved so much. He loved this neighborhood. It wasn't a neighborhood that was too much monitored by the police. So it was a lot of drugs and violence. Um, it was a lot of bad influence in this neighborhood. But for some reason, because his family was there, he felt safe and he felt protected until one day his cousin, Davion Shaw, aka Doodles is what they called him, shot my son. Shot my son in his heart 2 times. Okay. This was family. Mind you, my son was 23 years old. He got shot on Mother's Day of 2023. And he's gone. I can't get my son back. I had to respect some of my son's choices, no matter how much I influenced him to do the right thing, no matter how much I influenced him that I met paved the way for him to move away from this neighborhood. He chose to stay amongst people whom he thought that he was safe with, and he was going to be okay. He loved life. My son loved, making money. He loved his son. My son also just birthed a child. When he died was 4 months. My first grandchild was born from my son Orby, and he passed away 4 months after he had his son. And like I said, once again, he was killed by a family member. Um, since Mother's Day this year, May the 14th, 2023, I have been trying to fight for justice for my son. Broad daylight, it was a party. Broad daylight, it was a party in this neighborhood, Coverdale and Bridgeville. They called the neighborhood 525. That was his thing. He even had the daggone neighborhood tattooed on his arm. He loved it so much. But the day he died, his family member, his cousin, a 19-year-old, took his life due to gun violence, due to hatred, due to jealousy. This is what the world is becoming. Our family members, the devil is working amongst our family members and our loved ones who we are blinded by. If we are of the world and in the world and not praying and giving, asking God for discernment, it's things that people amongst us pray against us. They are jealous of because they see your light, because they see how God is blessing you, that they want, that God is going to give to all if you just ask. Okay. So I'm on here today to for any grieving mother that has lost a child due to gun violence. I'm praying for you. I'm praying that God continues to keep you covered. I'm praying for myself because this type of incident on how it led up to my son's death is leading me towards feeling angry. And I don't want to feel angry. I just want justice. I'm hurt. I'm confused. I'm even more isolated when it comes to today and being amongst people. You got to have a spiritual eye when you're out in the world and you're around people. You got to have ask God for discernment to know who is for you and who is not, and what is of God's will for your life, because God will give you signs of who is for you and who is not. You just have to ask and be vigilant. Okay. I don't know if there's anyone out there that has been through this, but if you have, continue to please like, share, subscribe. I'm screaming to the mountaintops. My son is gone. Orby Lee Pray Holder is gone. The killer is on the loose in Sussex County. And no one in this small community, Coverdale Crossroads in Bridgeville, Delaware, is saying anything. He's been shot in broad daylight. No one is saying anything. It's been 2 months. So I get on here today to stand up for my son. The police in Bridgeville, Delaware are doing all that they can do, that they say by law. It's certain laws that they have to follow. And Lord, that brings me to waiting on God now, because God has the vengeance. Because I can't retaliate on this 19-year-old who killed my 23-year-old son over jealousy. That was his cousin. I can't retaliate towards him. So this is me getting my steam off. This is me fighting for my son, and I just want justice. So if you have seen, if you were there at this party in Helena Wright's yard when my son got shot, say something. You're not helping nobody by not saying anything about what you saw. And if you cared anything for Orby Lee Pray Holder, if you cared anything for my son, then you will stand up for him. You will stand up for his life, because he's gone. And I can't get my son back. It hurts me every day. It hurts me every day. I still have to get up. I still have to go out in the world. I still have to put this smile on my face. I still have to pray to God to remove the anger that I have. And it's working. He's working on me daily. He's working on me daily, but it's not even about me. It's for my attention, to get the world attention, to see beyond what you see in this world and the people that is around you. We live in a spiritual realm, okay? And you have to see beyond the skin, the body, the clothes, and people, that everything is not what you see. And everybody that say they love you don't really love you. Some people may do. They may be genuine in what they say, but you have to ask God for discernment to know that if that is real or not. And God will show you in so many ways who is for you and who's not. I'm sure my son had pretty much had some signs to see that his cousin wasn't, truly there, truly out for his best interest. I know it had to be some incidents that led up to this to make my son see that. But it was too late for my son, because this guy took a gun and shot him in his heart. Mind you, at this party in Coverdale Crossroads, he was in his Aunt Helena Wright's yard, okay? And then around this town, it's a circle, it's a horseshoe. It's one way, it's you go in and you go out. It's a circle. You go in and you go out of this neighborhood. Drugs go in and go out of this neighborhood. Guns go in the hands of children in this neighborhood, okay? These children in this neighborhood of Coverdale Crossroads thinks that they got to walk around with a gun to feel protected, to feel like a man, okay? They idolize some drug dealers that live amongst this neighborhood. They idolize people that are not a positive role model for them, and they tend to get caught in their way. After 18, is only so much that we can say to our children or leave them, because they have in their mindset that they're grown and they're going to make choices on their own and they're going to do what they want to do. So as a mother, all I could do was pray and continue to boss up in my life to show my son that I can pull him out of this, that there's a different life. But regardless of how hard we work as parents to show our children different, they're going to have their own path. They're going to have to walk and make their own decisions. And in the path that my son chose, it was not a good path that he chose. Why? Because his cousin, Davion Shaw, aka Doodles, from Coverdale Crossroads in the Sussex County area, killed him. Mind you, leading up to my son's death, my son allowed this young man to sleep in his bed at his grandmother's house. He allowed him to stay with him. My son ran around the block with this dude. I'm pretty sure broke bread and money with this young man anytime he let him lay in his bed. And to think this is the same young man that took my son's life amongst all these people that seen it, that's supposed to be his family, and no one has said a word. No one has stood up for my son. No one. No one, but they want me to be quiet. They want me to put it under a rug like they doing and going on with my life. My life has changed. I was his mother. I am his mother. I cannot just let this rest. So I don't know if I need a first 48 show, or I don't know if I need one of them shows where they replay this whole situation, where they play it out from the days that led up to Davion Shaw killing Orby Lee Prey Holder. At this party, he was among cousins, he was among sisters, he was among all type of people that he's seen his whole life. So my son probably never even had a thought that this could ever happen to him, because I didn't. I never thought that I would get that call from my mother saying your son has been shot in the neighborhood where I grew up at, where people knew me, where people knew my parents, where my parents fed people, where my parents gave people a place to stay. These are people. These are the spirits that I had among me my whole life that never meant me or my children any good. And this is why I give my life to the Lord. And this is why I am going to continue to pray to God. He's not going to take me out. I'm not going to let this anger get to the best of me. I'm going to pray this thing away from me. Do you hear me? And I'm going to fight every day. I pray that somebody sees this video. I pray that somebody sees this video that saw my son get killed and say something. Stand up for my son. He did not deserve to die. 23 years old. 23 years old. A striving young man that has been through a lot, that also made the choice to run the streets. So with that is consequences. And you know what those consequences are that I have saw, that I have witnessed in my life? And it is never a lie. When I heard it, I just thought it was a thing that they said. In the streets is going to lead you either dead or in jail. It's a true statement, because he's been in jail and he's came home and he grew from that. But it took him right back to the streets because of what he was so immune to, what his mind was being consumed of, what he was feeding his mind, what he saw every day. It was no change. No matter what change I tried to bring into his life, he had a different path that he chose, and it chose to his death from jealousy and anger from Davion Shaw, his cousin, on his father's side, and Coverdale Crossroads. I just say, Lord, to any grieving mother, I send my love out to you. To a mother that has lost a child to gun violence, that is something so, it's just so unbearable. It's so unbearable when the person that killed your son is still walking. He has that right to. Because we need a witness now. We need someone to stand up for Orby that really cared, that really loved him, to say, hey, I seen Davion Shaw, I seen Doodles do this. And I'm not scared of nobody calling me a snitch. I'm not scared of any of that, because my love was strong enough to say, hey, he killed him and he deserved justice. This man deserves to be behind bars. I got to wait on God, though. I got to let the police do their job. So in the meanwhile, to soothe me, this grieving mother, you're going to hear my voice. You're going to see my face. Because you know why? Davion Shaw, you took my son. Maybe, which we all know, our lives are already written. And this is of God's will, per se. For whatever reason, I don't know. But what I do know, he serves the just and the unjust. So I pray that you get your soul right, Davion Shaw, with the Lord. Repent, do whatever it is that you have to do to save your soul. But justice still will be done for what you have done. You have ruined so many lives just by taking one. My son just had a baby whom was 6 months old. He was so proud, yo. He was just so proud to be a father. The boy was just so proud, and he was doing all that he could do before he left this world to provide for his son and to show his son love. And you took his life, and he wasn't even able to experience that with him. All because of jealousy. All because you hated my son. You shot him in the heart and took his life. The same guy that gave you a place to stay days before you took his life. This is why we got to be mindful of people we keep close to us. This is mindful. This is another sign of showing the end of times. Kids killing kids. This is black on black crime. The cops ain't even got to shoot us no more. We're shooting each other. And then we're hiding. We're not, the witnesses aren't saying anything about what they seen. So what does that tell you about the way people think in their minds in this world today of 2023, of where our world is leading to and where it's going? Y'all making it okay. Y'all making it okay for us to kill each other. That's not the world. God didn't create us to kill each other and do this to each other. We need to stop gun violence today. So who's ever out Coverdale Crossroads and Bridgeville, Delaware, 525, giving these young kids these guns to protect themselves from what? The neighborhood is only a horseshoe. It's only in and out. Let God be your protector. If you want to fight, use your hands. Y'all not even using hands today. Whew. As a grieving mother who has the right, has her own platforms to fight for her son when no one else will, this is what I'm going to do. In the process of my son being at this party in Coverdale Crossroads, he was amongst people he grew up with since elementary school. He went to Woodbridge Elementary, middle school, high school. He even went to the alternative school in Laurel, Delaware. All around the Sussex County is where my son has been. And the people that he's been around has seen him grow up his whole life. And at this party, majority of the people that were there were supposed to be his family, that were supposed to protect him or even try to diffuse the situation. They did nothing. Some people that you love just cannot be trusted. You have to keep your mind open. Once again, we're not fighting against the flesh that we see. It is a spiritual realm. It is spirits that are in all of us, godly and ungodly. Okay? And if you have them thoughts in your head of killing somebody, you have a problem. You need to go seek help. You need to go seek the higher God, but you definitely need to seek professional help when you have premeditatedly killed someone. My son said words to this guy. He said words back. This guy walks off and leave and go get a weapon. It comes back and shoot my son in the heart around people that they both knew. They both were related to. And when the cops come, all these people that was there says nothing, does nothing. Where is the love? Bridgeville State Police, Sussex County, Delaware State Police, I hope that you are doing your job. I hope that you are investigating. I'm in North Carolina. There's only so much that I can do. So this is what I am going to do. I'm going to continue to shout out to the rooftops that this man killed my child, and he's walking around free in Sussex County. Davion Shaw. His father, Wallace Shaw, a.k.a. Bonky, from Coverdale Crossroads, you know what he did as the father? These are the type of role models that play in this community. Picked his son up from this party and drove him off while my son was laying on the ground bleeding out. Drove his son off to hide his son. His mother, Delisha Thompson, from Coverdale, who now lives in Elizabeth Cornish Apartments, she know where her son is too. Do you know when I rolled down 340 something miles already knowing that my son was dead, had to go to Delaware? Do you know she made it her business to see my face? She made it her business to tell me how sorry she was. Even the father, they both made it their business to tell me how sorry they were. During that time, I couldn't put everything together. It was punches blowing at my face, but they made it their business to tell me their sorrow. For what? When they should have made it their business to go to Bridgeville, Delaware State Police and tell them, I've seen my son. I heard from my son or anything. Why? Because we all family. And y'all so sorry. Them sorries ain't doing nothing for me today. Because my son is still gone and your son is still living, walking around free. I don't wish death on you, Davion Shaw. I don't wish death on you. I wish justice be done. And whatever justice is, you deserve that. If I gotta suffer, you deserve that. If I gotta be away from my grandson and can't hear from my grandson because the baby mom is too hung up over materialistic things, is that the real reason? Because I hold on to the necklace that the police left to me? You want to keep me from my grandchild? Is that the real reason? You ain't been liking me, honey, and it's fine. You may never like me. And I don't care because just how you care for your son, I care for my son. So I don't care about how you feel at the end of the day. I don't care about how no one feels about me or what I say. But God, but God. If you loved or cared anything about my son, keeping my grandson from me is not what my son wished it. And you know what he told you before he died. Jasmine Wright of Milford, Delaware. You know what he told you. And for you to, God, if he could see these actions right now, it would not be nothing. It would not be nothing he would be agreeing with you on doing. But it's okay. Because when it comes to this, I'm not going to lose no sleep over a baby that's not mine, which is my grandchild, which I have rights to. I'm going to let God deal with you, sweetheart. And it shows every single day. Every text that I've sent that went unanswered, any conversation that you had the opportunity to share your feelings as a woman, you did not. It shows what type of person you are. It really does. And I'm going to continue to pray for your sorrow and losing my son as well. But I also know every day that he's gone, and I see how you handle his son. I see how you use him as a pawn to keep him away from me because you're angry. You're not going to get no blessings out of that, honey. And you're hindering the grandchild, depriving him of his blood-born right, of his grandmother, not great-grandmother, but I'm his grandmother. I'm where his father came from. So that you will have no control over, sweetheart. God has the last say in that. I just needed to put that out there to you too, sweetheart. I do. I send my love to you, Jaden. This is where they got me, baby. Jaden Lee Holder, grandmom loves you. But at the end of the day, once again, Davion Shaw, Delisha Thompson, Massey, whatever your last name is, Bonky. I'm praying that God gives you the right sense to do the right thing and have some morals and integrity. Stop hiding your son. Y'all know where he is. Do the right thing. Because if the roles were reversed, let it been my son that shot your son. Y'all would have been at my mom's house knocking on the door with a whole community pointing at my son saying, Orby did it, Orby did it, because it ain't been the first time. Now my son is gone and y'all quiet. It's like, oh, well, that's how I feel. It's no sorry. Don't tell me sorry about my son's death when you know where the killer is, when you're hiding the killer. Do the right thing, Sussex County, Delaware State Police. Stay on your job out Coverdale. It's drug infested. It's guns out there. And there's stuff that's going down where y'all need monitoring all the time. Y'all need to monitor these people. It's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. The young generation is going to wipe their own self out. It's going to wipe their own self out. So I'm going to calm my nerves and I'm going to say this every day that God gives me the ability to get on YouTube. I'm going to continue to share my feelings and how I feel about gun violence, about family and loved ones that say that they love you. Watch them. Watch the ones you keep close. People will be jealous and envy of you and smile in your face and have a knife and be ready to stab you in your back. My son's family, his cousin took his life. That don't set well with me. That don't set well with me at all. It don't. And it won't. And it never will. It never will. It never will. It never will. So I had to get that off, man. I had to get it off me. I had to get it off. I'm tired of the fakeness. It's to the point where beyond doing what I have to do to continue to keep moving, I had to let go of some relationships, close relationships, blood relationships, family relationships due to my son's death. Why? Because I don't trust half of my own family. I can't trust y'all. How can I trust y'all in a neighborhood where my son was, where all of y'all was, and nobody is saying a thing? But y'all seen this. Man, you ride around this neighborhood, they even got a nerve to have in the same spot where my son was killed, a little fence, like a memorial built. They got flowers, little obituary, little picture, justice for Orby. Mind you, the killer, the father that drove off with him, all of these people stand around this fence every single day. The uncle that seen things, the cousins that seen things, they stand around this thing. I don't even know how they do it. I couldn't do it. It hurts me. I don't even want to be in the neighborhood. They stand around it and they still not saying a daggone thing. I don't understand the point of all that. The remembrance of where he lost his life, the remembrance of where y'all saw him get shot and y'all not saying anything. I need justice for my son. Not sorry, not pity, not sympathy, but justice for my son. 23 years old who had his whole life ahead of him and his cousin kills him. You know, another thing that teased me off is the justice system. The laws. Like, I don't know if the mayor, I don't know who changes them or how often they get updated. But when you have a crime happen in a community so small, so I just feel as though if I was an officer of the law or could investigate, or I have been investigating, trust me, I have, but it's so small not to find an answer. You know what I mean? It's too small. I shouldn't have to put up a $10,000 or a $20,000 reward around people that was family that saw my son get killed. Why should I have to do that? I shouldn't have to do this so small. What triggers me is that the police that is on this case, Delaware State Police, knows Davion Shaw, knows Orby Holder, knows of plenty of witnesses that seen this happen. And not once have they made an arrest on the guy. Why? Because we need someone to stand up for Orby. That's the reason. We don't have a weapon. Oh, the weapon has been floating around the neighborhood. Pork Chop, I don't even know his real name. Y'all know Pork Chop from Coverdale Crossroads. I heard how he get the gun. It's too close, man. And that's Orby cousin too. Man, it's too close. I don't need nobody close to me. Only thing I need close to me is the Spirit of God, because I cannot trust these spirits that are out in the world. You just can't trust everybody. Family and all. Sometimes you just really have to ask God for discernment to see who is for you and who is not, who is of God's will. I don't know, but I'm gonna continue to share. I'm gonna try to form some kind of alliance of people who has been in a situation where you've lost your child from gun violence, because I know your pain. I know how it feels because it's hurt. It hurts. And it's going to continue to hurt. And we have to find a way to heal. And I know from day to day, I have to reverence the Lord. I have to tap into my spirit, because I know now that what I see is not really what is happening. I'm sure it was the spirit in these people to make these choices, to not say anything. It is the spirit in that person that took that gun to shoot my son, for that trigger to go off. It was in the spirit of the father that drove the son away from the scene for him to do that. So I pray amongst the spirits that you get right with God. I rebuke and bind the spirits that are in these people, because you're not doing the right thing. I'm gonna continue to pray. I pray that this goes to any of the people that saw my son got killed in Coverdale Crossroads. I pray that y'all do the right thing, because I'm on it. I'm on it. I can only do so much. I have to allow the police to do their job, but you will not take my son and just go on with life and just throw his life under the rug like he don't matter, because he was someone, or he is someone, and he does matter. He does matter. There will be justice. I will not shut up until the day God takes me away from here. I will not. I want justice for my son. I want justice for Orby Lee Pray Holder. I want justice, period. This is Takesha with the Amazing Creations. And God woke me up to motivate, to encourage, to do hair and nails, to be a light, okay? To share God's testimony of what he did in my life, and how he has carried me through so many things, and how he's going to continue to carry me through this, and how you will watch and see how I will gain justice for my son, because I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I will never give up. I want justice for my son. I want justice for my son. I want hate and envy to stop. I want people to stand up for what is right and not indulge into everything that's wrong and what's so worldly. Like, tap into your Lord, tap into your maker. If you're having voids or feeling any type of way about things, there is a God who made you. These people who you walk amongst of, they is not going to be in the casket. Their soul is not going where your soul go. So you have to do right by God. You can't be pleasing, being a people pleaser and keeping law and all of that. Nah, keep the 10 commandments. Forget keeping the law of the streets. Keep the 10 commandments so your soul may have eternal life. It's not right. It's not right to sit and watch somebody get killed. That's your family. That's your blood that you so-called love, and you not say anything and do anything. It's not right. The type of mother that I am, if I was amongst that neighborhood, I would have saw and said what I saw and went to the police. That's the type of morals and integrity that I have, that have been installed in me. Okay? Get some. It's Takesha Holder, Orby Lee Pray Holder's mother, who is now dead. My 23-year-old son, who is now dead from the hands of his cousin, 19-year-old Davion Shaw. Okay? Doodles is what they call him. It don't make no sense. Y'all cops, Sussex County, y'all need to clean Coverdale up. Them kids should not be holding on to guns like that. It should not be such an easy access. And I know it's all over the world. I hear it all. Oh, it happens everywhere. It's all over the world. Well, when are we going to stop it? When are we going to stop this gun violence? They wiping out the generation on their own. I know God is so angry as he sit amongst and see us kill each other over these little petty materialistic things. We need to fight for our spirits and our souls and have eternal life. Because some of this stuff that y'all hate and be jealous and envy over towards each other, you cannot take with you. And when you die, people going to be fussing and fighting over it. Fussing and fighting over these materialistic things that mean nothing. That is meaningless. That is meaningless. Where is my book? That is meaningless. That is meaningless. That is so meaningless. That is meaningless. Like I said, that is meaningless. And you know why I say that? To say this. I'm going to share from the book, from the Bible, just a small word from the Lord. This is Ecclesiastes 1. Everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. What do people get for all their hard work? Generations come and go, but nothing really changes. The sun rises and sets and hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and north, here and there, twisting back and forth, getting nowhere. The rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. It just keeps running. Then the water returns again in the rivers and flows again to the sea. Everything is so weary and tiresome. No matter how much we see, we are never satisfied. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. No, because Cain and Abel, them brothers jealous. What happened? Did Cain offer up his gifts and his sacrifices to God and God accepted and Abel didn't like it? It could be the other way around, but either or, one brother was jealous and took another brother's life. So I say that to say that again, nothing under the sun is truly new. History repeats itself and it's all been done before, but God gives us the book to call out these situations for us to try to save our generations. What can you point to that is new? How do you know it didn't already exist a long time ago? We don't remember what happened in those former times and the future generations, and no one will remember what we are doing now. So all this worldly stuff that we fighting and killing each other for, that you trying to get clout for and show off for, it's going to be all meaningless at the end of the day. The only thing that is priceless, that is worth so much more, is our souls, to be saved, to have a relationship with God, not people, with God. And the people will die, then God will direct you to the people that He wants you to have a relationship with. Don't go upon your own will to have a gang of spirits around you and you're not sure of what these spirits are, because it can lead you to your demise. It can lead you to your death. And sometimes it'll be your family. Don't let your life end for something so meaningless. Fight for your life while you're here. Have some meaning with your life. Have some relationship with God. That's going to mean so much more than all that, bringing jealousy and hate and envy towards each other for us to kill one each other. I just read Ecclesiastes 1, and I'm going to get on here and I'm going to read some more tomorrow. I'm going to continue to speak my mind and say how I feel on my platform. Any mothers that lost any children due to gun violence, if you have any groups that you can tag me in, because like I said, you're going to see me on here. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down. I also have a page on Facebook, Takesha Holder. I don't think I even want to share on that platform anymore, as far as when it comes to my son, because I need more. I mean, I need more of news reporters. I need more of investigative type people to make a move on this situation. The people who saw my son die, which was his family, that are not saying anything, is no love. So it's meaningless to even speak to them. Okay. So I want to touch, reach a higher, more vigilant group of people that can help me through this grief. It's Takesha with Amazing Creations. Um, I'll see you guys tomorrow or later today. If God moves me to read something, I will. So again, it's Takesha with the Amazing Creations. To any mothers that lost their child due to gun violence, I pray that God soothes you, fills any voids that you have. Again, thank you. It's Takesha with the Amazing Creations. I'm going to end this stream.